Ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of 64 Bits of Rage.
Yeah. We're here.
We're not here?
No.
Get used to it?
Yeah, get used to it.
I feel like that's the thing of things.
The thing of things, like the store of stores.
Shut up.
The thing of things.
I don't think we need to dive into the store of stores. Going on here.
It's a good podcast for it, though.
That's okay. My brother just messaged me from prison, so there's another hole.
Not from a store of stores. That's called a cell of cells.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, I made myself sad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I actually like my brother-in-law. Oh. Made myself sad.
Consequences of your actions. Anyways, a little bit of a special 64 bits of rage here.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna...
Oh, we should probably introduce ourselves.
We can. We're gonna follow suit with our last Rage Quit episode, our sister podcast that primarily covers...
sisters? Why can't they be brothers? Why is everyone always thinking of the female?
Because there's some things in anime, like objects or concepts, that are designated female and some male. And there's very few, actually, male things. So, like, computers are always referred to as him, not a she. It's one of the few things. There's a lot more, like, tech.
I feel like I'm diving into the realm I have no idea about. I was just being a jackass. Anyways, continue on.
It's actually, it's part of the language. It's what it boils down to. There's just some things that are connotatively one gender or the other. It stems from the other Romance languages, which we pluck from, which have, like, feminine and masculine nouns.
Okay.
So it's like, learning a little bit of Spanish, it's like some words are just naturally masculine or feminine, and sometimes you're like, why? It's like, that doesn't really make any sense. We carry that over just in our jargon. So when we refer to a ship, it's always female. When we refer to a computer, it's always male. Just things like that.
Weird. I didn't know that. Anyways, sister podcast. What are we doing?
Last week on our sister podcast...
it's kind of like...
I don't know why.
Follows me every time.
Rage Quit, we did just kind of like a podcast version of a Let's Talk, which we also do on YouTube. Just kind of bantered and we talked specifically about like the origins of ASInquisitor and how we stream and how we podcast and the tech we use. We're not going to cover exactly the same ground, but the concept or the foundation of this episode of 64 Bits of Rage is going to be the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go where the wind takes us.
Where the wind blows, and it's snowing right now, after we just did yard work.
Yeah, we'll probably cover some things that we've talked about in private for what we could do for podcast topics, but we felt couldn't flesh out to an hour.
Yeah, like little tidbits there, here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, my name's Anthony Schultz.
I'm Ariel Skahulitz.
And this is episode 9 of 64 Bits of Rage.
Speaking of 64 Bits of Rage, didn't you just edit all of our 64 Bits thumbnails?
I did, so it was kind of interesting because it's like we talked about like we got another mic and we improved the sound of the podcast, both
the quality
of which and stuff.
And all that.
So we wanted to make more like sweeping changes as well, not just that. And so we improved the YouTube version of the podcast specifically. So now they have cards that promote Rage Quit.
Yep.
And the Rage Quit ones will have cards that promote 64 Bits of Rage.
Yep,
so,
a combination of them both.
Yeah, a little cross-pollination. If you enjoy the podcast, check out this other podcast kind of a thing. And then I did widescreen thumbnails for the YouTube ones that are unique.
Instead of just like the small ones that you put on Cashbox that are meant to be small and then just ported them over.
Exactly, which is what I had been doing. And then I also went through even the Castbox of just the podcasting thumbnails.
Yeah.
And I made them more specific to the episode, which I think will be a little bit more eye-catching. And then if you're just kind of scrolling through, maybe be like, oh, I like Nintendo, but it's like, oh, I also picked up Devil May Cry 3, the special edition on the Switch. What do they have to say about it? And you get to see, Dante and Virgil from that game.
Exactly.
With the podcast logo and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah, because it's not just our logo, but then it kind of gives you a little tidbit of what this is going to exactly be about and how they're going to go about things, which is kind of cool. And obviously, we everyone stems from somewhere where they change how they do things or change how it looks or add things to make it better. I mean, everyone's got to start from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've always been partial to like layer, especially with content creation.
Mm-hmm.
Even before when I could really devote time to it.
Yeah.
Layering in new things and then retroactively adding those to, if you can, to prior episodes or videos or whatever you're working on.
A lot of people don't necessarily do that. I feel like because we're so young, we can kind of get away with changing how we do things, like with the thumbnails and.
I'm also willing to do it. Like if we had 100 episodes, say, of a podcast, I would go through all 100 of them. Like,
but
a lot of people don't do, and they will be like, well, the reward for doing that isn't a lot.
What do you think it's
for me? I kind of get like anal retentive about it, a little OCD, where I'm like, they all have to match. Like,
maybe there comes your ADHD comes into play.
Oh, absolutely.
OCD, ADHD. I get it all done. No, I don't.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ooh, squirrel.
I think it helps. It's known if you refresh thumbnails specifically on YouTube that oftentimes, obviously the YouTube algorithm is very complex, but it'll raise like your podcast back to the top, even if it's an older one, or your video rather.
Yeah.
And so it'll help out in that, and that'll then, of course, if more eyes are on it, you know, should hopefully increase your metrics, you know, your watch time.
Yeah.
Or people, you know, haven't found your podcast or your videos before, they can then subscribe to it. I don't know if that for sure works with podcasting services, but I imagine the logic's kind of the same.
Similar, at least.
So,
well, the funny thing is, I was just thinking this too, and it's like with people when they podcast, don't necessarily put it on YouTube because they either do a split thing where they record video and then we'll post the video and podcast version, the video version of the podcast, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then the audio version separate.
Which we will do eventually as well.
Yeah, we gotta get our studio going and everything. That's on the docket this year.
Yep. And once that's done, that's when we'll start doing it.
Oh, it's stuck. It's currently snowing right now, so we really can't, dive into.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It was like 60 degrees and sunny yesterday, so we just did a bunch of yard work. Now it's like 30
now
and snowing.
It's snowing. A blizzard is rolling in over the top of us.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't snowed all winter, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. But, and it's just, certain things we have planned and whatnot, but at the same time, I don't feel like new podcasts thought about putting their audio with a thumbnail or some kind of derivative artwork on that type of thing, because a lot of people, obviously, with YouTube, it's meant to be seen. Comparatively, we're not listened to, but at the same breath of it's like you and I, especially from experience, will put something on and then do shit around the house and listen to it.
Yeah, oftentimes I'll let YouTube just like do its thing and go to the next suggested video over and over and just listen to it. Or music, it's like the number one now platform used for listening to music.
Well, makes sense.
So obviously you're not really watching that. That's on and you're just listening to music as you do stuff around the house or work on something else. So I would imagine that podcasting is the same kind of way. It's easy access, it's free. You can put it on and then you can just listen to it and do the same kind of thing that you would do if you were just listening to music or letting videos, run through a playlist or what YouTube recommends. So.
Yeah, and then, the only thing is when we start recording videos for the podcast and spicing the sound out of them, it's like, I gotta wear clothes, I gotta wear bras and be professional.
Can't be nude.
Can't be naked. I mean, you don't know what I am right now, so. But I was just saying, it's just like, it's interesting that I don't know if they think about it or if they just think it's a weird way to do it.
I don't know. I'm always like, I will try to take sometimes, like when I can and I feel like it fits, the path less traveled. Yeah. So it's like people have done it, but maybe not a lot of people do it. Like say, podcasters always do this on YouTube, but like 70% of them don't do it this way. Yeah. I will oftentimes like kind of go with that other 30% and try to add to it at least.
Pay off though, because people they're like, oh, I never thought of that, because I do like to have like YouTube up or something, or I'm doing stuff around the house. Because obviously with YouTube it doesn't have it where you can close it and still listen.
Yeah, you have to pay for YouTube Red or whatever their premium service is.
Which is weird, but when it makes sense, though, it means a free service. I mean, if I can complain about that shit.
Yeah, it's got like Spotify runs ads, and it's like, you just deal with it.
Listen to this 30-minute, for free 30 minutes. You said that 10 minutes ago, you bitch, you lying hoe.
Yeah, I didn't get 30 minutes of free listening time. Fuck you.
Fuck you. And now you crashed. I gotta do it again. But,
Yeah, I think that might be the Kindle for that.
Well, why don't we put my Kindle? I keep it. Mine's newer.
Yeah, no, it's set up now.
It's done.
I do it till it cramps you out.
But it's just funny to think though, because like we just naturally have done things that way because we obviously want to get our label and everything out there to, you know, change the thumbnails and do the art and design and obviously create it ourselves. You know, if we're gonna, we may use like a template, but we do the art ourselves. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of YouTubers use Canva, which that's what I use. I mean, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not an artist, and you don't have the time to be able to do every single thumbnail.
No, considering what we have, we're on episode 24, 25 of Rage Quit and episode 8, 9, 10 of 64 Bits of Rage. That's like 35 templates that I have to make personally, and it's like I work full time.
It's just too demanding. Yeah,
you know, it'd be one.
That's why I've never asked you to do that, even though you are an artist.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't think you know, can't do it. It's just time constraints. When I can, you know, get something that's good quality and make it my own and use Canva in particular. Yeah. And find templates that I like and then find the, you know, free sourced images that I can use. And then tailor it to our podcast or our videos or past streams or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if I could just solely focus on doing that type of artwork, because I mean, I love doing art, and I even have my own docket stuff like for my YouTube channel and everything to get going.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just, again, for me, because I do work full time, it's just I gotta find the time.
Yeah, and that's why, like, for that, it's like I'll take the burden willingly to do all the production for it, and the thumbnails and stuff like that, the tags, the description.
That's why, like, a lot of people either are successful or not, because they don't realize it is very time consuming. And if you do have a full time job and you're trying to balance it
is very time consuming.
People just see the famous people out there and don't think of how much time and effort they had to put in it, especially in the beginning, to get that famous. Yeah, you're gonna get those weird ass one offs that are, you know, insta famous, but then you think, are they still around? No.
Yeah, and they do. There's a lot of people that like filter into the community and then quickly back out, because I think you're absolutely right. I don't think they realize, they don't get the reaction that they expect, because they don't understand that there is actually a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, advertising, there's making sure your stuff's on point, you have the right equipment, the fact that, you know, you need to be able to put the time and effort in, and that's like, you know, even with me working full time, you still take care of everything in the house. So there's just a priority of things. Obviously, it's a little easier for you to balance that act and render a video out real quick and then do laundry or something along those lines, you know.
Yeah, as far as like time management is concerned, in my estimate, it probably takes about as much time, if not more, than 40 hours a week. But it's like part and participle. It is split up like that, where it's like, okay, I can do, like this morning I probably did like 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 hours worth of work.
Yeah, because you get up at 7, I get up until 10. I was lazy.
But
no hope, my break. Day off.
That was kind of split down the middle with, you know,
laundry,
doing a load of laundry, letting the dogs out, or dishes, or feeding the dogs, or something along those lines, and then like back to work, and like your family came and visited for a few minutes.
Yeah, his mom just had surgery.
That kind of like split that time too.
Yeah.
I set up for the next stream. I did the thumbnails for 64 Bits of Rage on YouTube and Castbox. I
made breakfast in the middle of all that.
Yeah, it tidied up some kind of like clerical error issues and like the copy editing for descriptions and did tags and stuff. Yeah. Scheduled videos to post, like, and you know, technically, like, it's my off day.
Yeah,
you know,
technically, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just about you know, either sitting in front of a camera or a mic and streaming, and then, you know, thousands of people are gonna flock to you. Like,
right.
Yeah, you have to really like kind of buckle down and like make sure you have the artwork to back it up to pull people in. Make sure that you're, you know, tagging properly. Make sure that you have playlists.
Well, then we had like the other conversation in there too. It's like where people just have that gimmick shit. It's like, dear God.
Yeah,
you know?
And that is definitely, in my opinion, I understand why people do it.
To each their own, but it's just, that's all you're going to be known for is a gimmick. It's like, well, Ninja, all he's known is for Fortnite, and he doesn't want to be that, but that's all you got.
And he's surprisingly less gimmicky than a lot of big streamers. It seems like, yeah, the streaming community, a lot of people...
And they strobe lights on the background, wear dumbass costumes, and...
Yeah, and I don't mean to, and this isn't always true, and I don't mean to like stereotype if I am here being a little bit ageist, but it does seem to be
The younger group.
very young, like early 20s that
do that.
That do it, yeah. And there's a part of me that like appreciates the showmanship that goes behind it. You know, building a persona or a character and then being that person.
The time and effort to put the costume and get the costume and make it or put it on or whatever you're doing, but at the same time it's like...
I do find it gimmicky. Like
it's just over the top. And yeah, you may be popular, but how long are you going to do that? You're going to do that for your next 15 years if you want to be a streamer? Or what about when you get older and you want to be taken seriously? It ain't going to work, Holmes.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really hard to get under that. You're like cast typing yourself.
Yeah.
Like a lot of actors will
not
fall into a role that like defines their career, and then they don't always want to do that. You know, they don't, and they can't. You know, they don't always want to be like the male lead in rom-coms for the rest of their lives. You know, they want to. Their age isn't going to hold out for that anyways. Like we're always getting older. And then, you know, maybe they want to do bioepics or dramatic roles and things like that. And it's like, well, we won't cast you for this because you were always the lead in a rom-com.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the same thing is going to happen to streamers as this industry gets older, where it's like, oh, you were always just whatever your persona is, you know, this guy.
Yeah, well, be that guy, you know.
Like, I don't really trust your industry analysis of, you know, esports, you know. It's like you've never really talked seriously about this before. You just kind of dicked around and
wore Scooby-Doo pajamas, you know. It's like, why are you trying to be serious now? That's not why I watch you. And then when, obviously, you're going to get that age. Like, for granted, you probably can pull off for a while, but you're going to get to that age where you want to be taken seriously, and you're going to peter out or top out at a certain view and just not go anywhere.
And right now, you may not think that you are. That's the thing. You may not be looking forward to
the young and ambitiousness, and you're like, I got this, I'll always do this, and you're not thinking in long terms. Like with you and I and how we started, we always had this serious conversation too. What is going to be good for us in the long run? How do we manage this to keep it in the long run? That's why we got the capture card to make it easier for you to stream, to be able to variety stream, because you know we were a variety streamer with just games, not consoles. Now we can be consoles and games.
Exactly. Yeah, it was only the PS4 because that's the only avenue we had to stream.
Mm-hmm.
It was straight natively from that.
Yep, which was difficult in its own right. I remember us having to have the mic hooked up to the freaking to the PS4, and it was like the only way they could record our voice was like the mic, and then you had to like sit really close.
I did, my back would like give out, and I was trying to stream for long periods of time.
Yeah, and like you were like super freaking close, and the dogs freaking tailed it or something, and it's like now you have like your little corner.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and now I can use stream overlays, and I can stream any console, and everything's very like centralized in one area, and I can be comfortable, you know, streaming for 4 hours or more.
Well, it's like even with this one, because again, this is like validation on, you know, developing and growing, because we wanted to do more with our podcast, and then it's like, it's either someone has an Xbox or a Switch or a Nintendo or a PlayStation and a Switch, and we're like, well, the Switch is starting to amp up and get going.
Yeah,
Nintendo is, and it's like I've always been a Nintendo person, and I love Nintendo. So that's when it branched off into our sister podcast, where it is in 64 bits of rage. So, and it's like, you know, the development of seeing what you're doing, see how well it's doing, and how to capitalize on what you're doing well. But in the same breath, not making it to a point where it's just an entire gimmick. You're not going to want to just be stuck doing one thing when you want to be taken seriously and you want to do another type of podcast, like where you're doing two different gaming consoles and gaming systems. For granted, they get the cross-pollination with their games, because obviously there's always going to be third-party, second-party studios, but you're still always getting the first-party ones that you talked about, and people don't necessarily play, or they don't think it's good to invest in the Switch, or you always get the naysayers, but they always still want to see what the game looks like.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons that like the Days Gone streams and that series that I did last year did so well is because it was exactly that. It was a console-specific title. It was first party, and then it had mixed reviews. And so people didn't know if it was a good game or a bad game, or they didn't really have the opportunity to, maybe they didn't have a PS4 to even play it if they wanted to.
Yeah, because
then they got to see somebody play it, you know.
It's like, how many times did you have in your stream alone say, "Oh, I was iffy about this game, but watching you play it, I'm actually going to go get it"?
A ton. I mean, that series, I only did 1 day a week, and it averaged 30 viewers a stream, which
is insane in its own right.
Yeah, I had just started, so especially. And so it was like that was really high. But yeah, I had people in the chat say all the time, like, I don't know why this game got really bad reviews. Yeah. Or like, I'm definitely going to go scoop this up now, you know, or... and I knew a lot about it, thankfully, because I had already played through it on my own accord. It was my second playthrough on a more difficult setting. And and then I can explain stuff on the way, too. So people hopped in and they were like, well... how's the story, or how's the game mechanics? I could really dive into it and be like, oh, it does this, this, and this. Ouch. Or this is how long the story is.
So sad in butt.
Or these are the kind of story beats that it hits, you know? Yeah. And I can explain it a little bit more thoroughly to either get somebody interested in the game or solidify that it's not a game for them, you know, one way or the other.
No, yeah, regardless. I mean, but you have that avenue. Like, I know sometimes you do this, very rarely, blind playthroughs, and that's like the horror games are easy just to kind of do a blind playthrough, but you don't necessarily do blind playthroughs because, you know, you want to be able to talk to your people so you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, too, a lot of people do that. Like, they'll do blind playthroughs, and it's just like they kind of screw themselves because they're so focused on the game itself, they forget I have people I need to talk to.
Yeah, and they'll get so, like, engrossed or wrapped up into a game.
I mean, because it could be a good story, too.
The chat. I found, whether it's a game that I have played before or a game that I'm doing a blind playthrough on, that I kind of switch up, and I'm comfortable doing this now and aware of it, when to be quiet, or to, like, cue that I'm going to be quiet because there's a story beat, there's a cutscene, or I'm reading maybe dialogue from an older game or something along those lines, so people can be invested in the story. And then other times, if it's people are just like, maybe it's more gameplay focused of a video game, or I've already played through it, I will
Kermit de Frog.
I will just provide commentary over the top of it, and then if somebody is curious about what's going on, they'll usually just ask, and so then I can fill them in because I'm already familiar with the game. So I'll be like, oh, this was the kind of the important bit in this dialogue or this cutscene.
Yeah, and it's like,
or this is why this happened, because earlier in the game, maybe a stream you missed,
you know,
this and this happened, which led to this.
Yeah, you missed part 4, and so it's a little weird to hop into part 5, so you have a little adverb to explain to it.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of switch up, like, how I speak and stuff, and in that case. I think that's difficult than it was for me when you're first starting, though.
Oh, yeah, God.
Being aware of what you're saying and what you're playing, and then what you have played.
Etiquette, properness. I think you and I were just, like, very, very boring, honestly. Like,
absolutely.
I would hate to, honestly, watch our first fucking streams.
I don't really go back and watch streams.
I explained in
I
this
do want
one,
to edit, but...
Fair. I don't think I explained this when I used to stream with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I used to actually come home from work, because that's when I was working at 3 in the morning. Oh, God, that was horrible. 3 in the morning, get off at 11:30. Our son would still be asleep because he's a lazy bug. And then trying to stream with you for an additional 4 hours. So, it's like...
Yeah, we didn't have a schedule lockdown. We didn't have...
Game, essentially, ideas, what we wanted to do.
Yeah, like, what was going to be
because, like,
good to play, what was going to be bad to play.
Yeah, when we first started, which was funny, because, like, you were like this, too. I want to make sure I pick the game, and I'm known for that game. And that's why we started getting that mistake, too.
Oh, yeah, we definitely... Yeah, we absolutely started falling into some of the basic kind of traps.
Yeah, and it's like, you know...
That's easy to do.
It is really easy to do. It's like, you're not paying attention, or you're like, oh, I get really good views with just this game. I'm just going to go with this game and this franchise. And then it's like, you know...
You pigeonhole yourself again.
Yep.
Just in the same way that streamers who are kind of gimmicky will oftentimes, you know, are pigeonholing themselves. It's the same kind of thing. But yeah, we absolutely were. Like, we did a lot differently.
Oh, yeah. And then it's like, you know, it was difficult because the dogs would act up, you know, because it was in the daytime. So people getting out of school, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm trying to be lively, and I just worked an 8-hour shift at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and I was just, like, super, like, physically, like, uncomfortable.
Because we had to sit so close,
Like, I have back problems, and I have since I was a teenager, and so, like, trying to, like, sit straight up, without any back support for 4 hours, it was, like, it would kill, like, I'd be sore the next day just from doing that.
Yeah, and then we'd have to get, like, Ollie up, take care of the house.
Yeah, it wasn't a good like work-life balance either.
No, it wasn't a really good balance.
Pretty much just streaming Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, so
there wasn't anything else.
Nope. Yeah, that was it. It was either Fallout Day or Elder Scrolls Day. And
yeah, it was like, just MMOs, just because there's
so
so much
big.
content there that it was like we could just keep doing this over and over.
Yeah, like you said too, we didn't realize it either. We were just pitching ourselves into it, and then like the more that we kind of. And forgetting this is where the community kind of came into play too. It's like they're like, you know, you had a handful of people who were they've been doing it for a year or two, and like, you know, you're just gonna get kind of stuck.
Yeah, and it does happen very quickly. You have to be incredibly passionate about a game or a franchise if you
constantly
do just one game or one franchise.
And there people are that can, like the MMOs, that make sense because there's, like you said, they're so big, and like the Fallout 76 was a good idea at the time because it was the first MMO for Fallout.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it got poorly reviewed because there was no
so people
PCs
were curious
in it.
about it. Yeah.
And then, but now that's like you do have those streamers who are extremely passionate about Fallout 76 and have that. And
absolutely, yeah. I see people that just do Elder Scrolls, just do Fallout, just do Call of Duty, just do Apex Legends,
but they have, like,
just do Fortnite.
badass like forts and stuff when they do Fallout.
Oh yeah, you know, people do all sorts of like crazy stuff. You know, if they find the game that they're passionate about, that they can sink, you know, hundreds if not thousands of hours into, and still be passionate and entertaining and happy to stream it and play it.
Yeah, but with MMOs, there's always events going on. There's always something going on for them to constantly not get bored of the game either. And that's where you and I were coming into play. Is yes, they were MMOs. Yes, they had a lot to do. God damn, I got tired of playing the same game over and over again.
And I do too. I'm very diverse in the types of games I play.
Similar types of ADHD going on here.
Yeah, I like to switch up games, even just in my personal time to play games, as well as what I stream. You know, on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of gamers don't play this way. And
a lot of people don't play this way.
That's what I mean. It's like I've had conversations with people on Twitter where they're like, I don't know how you do that. You know, I usually only play through a game one at a time, or maybe I'll have two, or there's a franchise that I really like. And
John's
so
a good example of that too. He's
all over the place with the types of games he plays, but he'll get locked down into one, and he'll play hundreds of hours of that, and then he'll be back out playing like 8 different games. Like, he's kind of a weird hybrid between the two. He's pretty good about it. For me, though, it's like, I mean, I play probably 12 to 24 different games.
You do. You
every week.
In a day, sometimes you're like,
yeah, I'll do like 2 or 3 different games.
I'm gonna play this game.
I'll play an hour or two or something, and then I'll go to something else, and I'll play that for a half
like I said,
hour.
your ADHD comes into play. So I'm gonna play this game. Well, no, okay, I'm bored now. I want to play this game.
Yeah, exactly, and I do that. Like, even if I wasn't streaming, that's just how I play games as it is.
Oh yeah,
but it keeps me interested. I'm always looking forward to either like the next retro game I'm gonna get, or the next new release or something along those lines, or going back into my back catalog and picking something that I may have missed. So
because we just got 2 cool older games.
Yeah, absolutely.
What were they?
We should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, because they're not necessarily Nintendo, but they're legit though.
Yeah, so and I want to get some N64 games. Speaking of that, too.
Yeah, we want to get GoldenEye because it's the best to play on Nintendo.
Yes.
It's like, I don't care who you are, GoldenEye on the 64, the best way to play that one. Like,
yeah, and I even have, I never had a 64, but I have fond memories of GoldenEye even.
Fucking the golden goddamn gun. My brother shot me through the goddamn window. You bitch, quit cheating!
And I already have the proclivity to be able to play older games, so it's like I'm excited to go back to it, because I know, at least for me,
then I can always get my Zelda fixed too and ignore the future Zeldas.
But yeah, hopefully we get better like retro ports.
That would be cool. Then we gotta play them on the Switch, because I just got my cool ass freaking controller, my fighter controller. I'm good at fighting games.
Yeah, so
I think that's like
as you guys probably know, like Ariel for Christmas got me a Switch Pro controller.
Yep.
But yeah, we were out doing some shopping, and this is yesterday before we did all our yard work. Yeah, we were at Target, and they had a sale on
$40.
It was like 17.
Yeah, it was like super cheap.
But yeah, she got the GameCube fighting controller.
Yep.
For the Switch.
It feels natural to me, and I'm
it's surprisingly comfortable, and that's not a controller that I like particularly love or I've used. And yeah, it's got a good weight to it. It's got a good form factor. Like it's better built than the original, but it's a GameCube controller.
I know, right?
So, yeah, it's nice.
But I'm really good at fighting games. I always did like Mortal Kombat and all sorts of fighting games. Obviously, I had siblings, so they were fighting each other regardless, in real life and in video games. So I mean, there's only one or two characters you can kind of get me with, but other than that, I'm always kicking your ass.
Yeah, when I play fighters, I'm not very good at them, but usually what ends up happening if it's when I play like a decent-ish amount, yeah, it's like a character
that I know of
that I can dominate most people that are just casual players.
Yeah.
But if I play any other character, I'm like, no, I can't do it. Like, it does. It was the same way when John came over like 2 weeks ago. We didn't play against each other, but we went through the campaign on that Power Rangers fighting game.
Yeah.
And then you play as all different like Power Rangers from different eras and stuff. But there was like one or two of them that I was like really, really good at. And John was like, I can't even play like that with that character. But then it would switch because it was just destroy mode, and I couldn't do it. Like I'd die and lose the match, and then I'd have to pass it off to John, and then he would cruise through it,
Yeah.
Because he was better overall, like you are, with like all characters, and I was just the only part that I'm maybe a little bit better at than the two of you is with one character. Yeah.
Well, except for if I'm doing the one Injustice, then I can kick your ass Harley Quinn all the time. So.
Well, that's on the Flash. The Flash wins. But yeah, and
we do have that rule though. No favorite characters because we both then get frustrated because we either tie it or.
Yeah, or it's just like every other match is dominated by one person.
By one of us.
It's not really fun.
No.
It's not like a close match or something.
No, that's when we go on the rule, pick other characters, and then it's it's like one head away from you and you got me, shit
so
like that.
Close.
But no, what retro games did we get, kind sir?
So actually, along with the controller conversation,
sorry about that.
Yeah, so I have a red like translucent Dreamcast controller coming, which I'm super excited about because I didn't have a Dreamcast at launch. I've only had one for like the last couple of years, but I haven't had a chance to really get into it and get games for it. Now that we stream it, I've really gotten into it. I love the Dreamcast. I think it's a great kind of underrated console. I think it's kind of one of those hidden gems where I think because of age
it came out
or
before its time.
It did, yeah. And the controls
like internet,
great form factor. There's still live servers that are privately hosted for Quake 3 Arena, so you can play online.
This is fucking funny.
Yeah, and graphics hold up surprisingly well.
Drinking tea and just swallow some tea leaves.
Texture in your tea.
Yum. Everyone likes texture in your tea.
So I'm really excited about that. The controller's going to be awesome. I love those controllers, and I usually always have a red one, depending on what console it is.
Yeah, you always have a red one regardless.
Exactly.
The red one for the PS3. You have a red one for the PS4.
Yep.
You have a red one. You have a green one, I think.
And a red one for the Switch. The
red one for the Switch. You have a green one for the 64, because you have a white and green one.
Yeah,
you had two of them.
And I have a green one,
It's either red or green.
For the PS1. Yeah, green's my second favorite color.
It's either red or green, which is funny because it's like, mine's blue. And so my controller is a Zelda blue.
Yeah.
And I love that controller. Like, that
well, and your PS4 controller is blue, as well as that midnight blue one.
Yep. And it's like, because I either keep the original one, which is always black, because we always get a black system, or when we get newer ones, because our old ones are just constantly dying.
For the PS4, yeah.
That's actually our very first investment. We didn't get you a headset. Before that, we actually got controllers.
Yeah, because they wouldn't last a stream.
No, they kept dying. You'd have to constantly rotate through them, because we've had the PlayStation 4 for a while, and you do play games consistently, so they just weren't holding a charge. That was actually our very first investment.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because you got the midnight blue one, and I got the clear white one.
For a throwback.
Yeah, that was like the 20th anniversary PS1 controller.
Yeah, because we got that before we even got you a headset. Because then we talked about more investments and stuff since we already spent the money on the controllers. How else can we make your streaming easier?
And the headset was next. To improve audio.
Obviously, caption card was a lot down the list, but...
Yeah, definitely worth the investment, but far more pricier than those things, so we had to wait a little bit for that.
Yeah, but talking about controllers sparked that memory, and it's like, I love my controller. It's like, oh, $17. If I can scoop that shit up. It's a corded one, which is fine. You know, I both are raised on corded generations anyways.
Yeah, and it reduces lag input for
That's
fighters.
why the one I got is a pro fighter. It's not just a pro controller, it's a pro fighter.
Exactly.
So I can just fucking dominate in the world of things. And then I can attach it to other things. Like you're saying, if John comes over tonight, I can play with his Power Ranger game with him and kick his ass.
Yep. Yeah, try it out, see how it works, because it is a Switch copy, the one he's bringing over. So.
Yeah, gonna be exciting. Oh, you're not done all that?
Almost done.
Huh?
Then I'm gonna crank a soda.
Like that?
No, not like that. No.
No, I know. The problem with, like, directional mics, you can definitely pick up all my burps now.
Yep, oh yeah. And it's specific to you and in your track.
Yeah.
So you can't even, like, hide it. Be like, how dare you, Anthony? Like, it's not gonna work.
At least I'm not farting.
What, like Trader Joe's?
Yeah, that was great. Fucking COVID-19, God. They deserved it.
Trader
all of them.
Joe's, Trader
all
Joe's.
of them deserved it. I guess we can elaborate on the Trader Joe joke.
Oh, yeah.
So, we were
I'm writing it down for a timestamp
God.
already.
So, we were just general shopping. We do every 2 weeks, we go grocery shopping because we're normal people. And so we went to Trader Joe's just to pick up a handful of items for dinner because that's make fish and chips. And oh my God, it was just chaos and busy, and you could hardly walk. And people kept cutting in front of me, so I got mad and I farted really loudly. At least it didn't stink.
When I was facing away, I was looking at the cheese wall, and then I hear it. And the guy next to me, who's also looking at the cheese wall by himself, looks at me, or I look at him, rather, and he's looking at me about the same time, and he just shrugs his shoulders. And then I turn around, not thinking that it was Ariel, and Ariel's beelining it away with Ollie in the cart, just like getting out of Dodge. And I'm like, oh, I know what happened. Then I catch up with her.
He's so flustered.
It's like, what is happening?
At least it didn't stink. That would have been funnier, but it didn't stink.
I do love the moment with the guy next to me, though, who I didn't know, where he's like,
Shrugged his shoulder.
I don't know, what me? Like, because I, like, blatantly, like, looked over, and he, like, didn't want to be blamed for it. So it was like shared a moment with this stranger at Trader Joe's.
People kept cutting in front of me and I just got really frustrated.
That's funny, because it was a guy probably about my age, too. Like, just by himself.
Uh-oh.
That's the dryer.
Time's up. We're done. Out.
Yeah, halfway through a podcast. Bye.
Boy.
The dryer commanded me.
Yeah. But because people are just in such of a panic from the COVID-19, they kept cutting in front of me. And I'm like,
oh, it's bad.
I have my kid in my fucking cart trying to look at cheeses, so I got mad and I farted.
It's like, that's your, like, flight or fight reaction?
Just rip one.
Yeah.
Well, you got both your guys' attention.
Clear room.
It didn't stink. I was hoping it would, but
nobody left. They just heard it.
It didn't stink. But I felt like if it would have smelled, it would have done what it was supposed to do. Wow.
But I like how it's like you can say something or leave, but instead it's like I did both. With one act. No, it was pretty funny. I knew exactly what happened too. I turned my head and you were just like beelining it. You were just like cruising away. Even Ollie knew.
What was that? Shut up, 2-year-old.
Yeah, you know what that was. Don't ask questions you know the answer to.
Oh man, that was good.
It was funny.
It was bad yesterday. Oh my God.
Well, I've heard it's bad everywhere, so.
Let's get a bidet.
Just remember, people, be safe. Like,
wash your hands.
Stop hoarding things.
Wash your hands.
Yeah. Be hygienic.
It's
be
like
safe.
COVID-19 doesn't even give you diarrhea or anything to do with poop.
Yeah, it is weird that toilet paper is being hoarded.
It's like if you run into the desire moments, there's a shower and there's a specific reason. Just hold your ass down.
Yeah, I know. It's just was it Trevor Noah said
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where people. We already discussed this on a whole other podcast, but just be safe, be hygienic, and be aware of the people around you, like, and what's going on. Like, everyone's going through the same thing, so you don't need to hoard or be mean or disrespectful to other people.
Quit buying top ramen. That shit dehydrates you. How dumb are you?
Yeah, it's jam-packed full of sodium, and then you're wasting water to make it as well. So it's like there's other like canned goods and stuff. I understand that you can get that to last for a little bit, or water. I'm like a little iffy on, but if you want it,
It's not being sprayed in the water.
Yeah, but like say something disastrous happened and your water supply was cut or something on that, then you at least have cases of bottled water. So I could see that for people should have.
Like that lady who stole the water.
Yeah, that was
blatantly Winco. She just walked
Winco,
out.
Winco. Yeah, she had 2 cases at the bottom of her car and just walked out with them. Wasn't even from Spokane and loudly was proclaiming that.
Mm-hmm.
Like how
can you live in Spokane?
How can you live here? By the way, I'm gonna steal from a store in your city and then bitch about your city. Like, yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyways, back to the toots in the games. But yes, Trader Joe's deserved it. With that being said, what retro games have we gotten? Now we're to the point of it.
So,
anyways.
But yeah, since we've, I don't want to necessarily say like doubled down, but we've kind of recentered our focus.
I tried to drink my own hair.
On streams and YouTube content.
Yeah, like we said before, it's good to change things up. Don't get stuck, or if you can.
Yeah, and this isn't something that like necessarily we haven't done. It's just we're able to kind of lean more into it now that we have the capture card and some better equipment overall. We've started scooping up some retro games and stuff, making sure that like the old consoles and controllers are cleaned and properly function, or if we need adapters for them, or memory cards, or whatever.
New cords or new controllers if they've crapped out.
Yeah, we can kind of easily take care of it and get it.
Because some of them are easy to pick up on the cheap too.
Post haste, yeah, and so. Because the Dreamcast is kind of quickly becoming, one of my favorite legacy consoles, we got Time Stalkers for the Dreamcast, which is awesome. One of my more niche games that's like my favorite that I played as a kid and I got years later for like $70 because it was just hard to find. Is Azure Dreams. I've streamed a little bit of that. I was planning on streaming more of it. But I think it's it's a little dry for streaming, just because the gameplay is fun, but you're kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again. But Time Stalkers is super similar.
Fucking funny.
It's very similar, but it's kind of that gameplay mechanic that I'm talking about is in shorter bursts.
Yep.
So I think it's more streamable.
And
the dialogue is really funny. Like the world's awesome. Yeah.
Got weird rabbit chick with giant tits.
Yeah, all the things we love about games.
Right, yeah.
It's like, reminds me of Fran from Final Fantasy 12.
Yep.
Yeah. But, so that game's really cool. I've been playing a little bit of that, and I'll probably do another save file and stream that, and then that'll probably make its way onto YouTube as well.
The open scene is just, like, glorious. You have to let other people see this.
Oh, yeah, the opening scene is fantastic. The music's great for it. Great game. If you haven't played it, you have a Dreamcast dust off.
It wasn't too bad. It was, like, what, $30?
22. Yeah, it's like a couple bucks cheaper than what you can normally get for it online.
Well, we have a retro mom and pop shop. That's the word I was looking for. Here.
Yeah, they're like a big chain down in California, but they are like franchise owned, and so we have 2 of them here. It's called Game World in Spokane, and they primarily focus in retro games.
Yeah.
And strategy guides and consoles and accessories and stuff like that. And there's one fairly close to our house, just north of here, and. So we were able to go up, and so we got Time Stalkers. Also picked up Phantasy Star 3, Generations of Doom. For the Sega Genesis. That was a complete copy. Had the manual and the case. Yeah, that was like $30. Not bad.
Not really
for a complete
game.
Copy, yeah. And Genesis cases in particular because they were hard plastic. Usually you can find them, which is kind of nice.
It is cool.
And then, I was surprised it had the manual, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's missing the cover on it, but it's got the rest of the manual. So I'm like, that's legit. And that one's really cool. It's got great music to it. It's a good old school, pixel RPG.
To put you in the dungeon. You need to cool down in the dungeon. What the fuck?
I know, yeah. It's got a funny story. Very kind of like cliche fantasy, What you would think of cliche fantasy from 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So.
Yeah, it's like, it's so funny, though.
Yeah, and then we've got a copy of Skies of Arcadia coming as well. And that's from Etsy shop owner.
Yeah, it's a newer rendition, but still cool to be able to scoop it out because I think original copy's at 140 or 130.
Yeah, it is. I usually like to have like the authentic like original version. However, I'm not gonna spend $150 on an old game.
Because then it's like you're not gonna want to play it, you don't want to ruin it.
Exactly, and just some games just by either the nature of the release or popularity are like very expensive. Yeah. That happens to be one of them. Dreamcast is not known for its RPGs, but Skies of Arcadia is one of like the few. Yeah, and like one of the highest rated. So, and that's kind of cool though, because it's like we only spent $15 on it. We'll be able to see if since it is a reproduction, if it'll work like how it's intended. And it's got the case and the artwork with it and all that. So that's a complete edition as well. And then I think that's it. I think those are the ones. The
only thing we scooped up, but.
And then in a couple weeks, we'll probably head back to Game World, and then we'll fill in on our Siphon Filter collection for the PS1. Yeah, because
you couldn't remember. I told you to write the master list, and you have.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, because I knew I had one of them, and there's 3 Siphon Filters, which is the same studio that did Days Gone, which we talked about earlier.
Yep.
But I wasn't sure which one I had, and then which 2 I was missing. So I kind of have a running list now, like Ariel said. She suggested it, and I worked on it over the weekend of things that would be good streaming games.
You didn't have a master list. You like your list because you're a weirdo.
Which is funny because before I never really did lists.
I know.
And now I do lists all the time. I think it's kind of the spinning plates thing. Like, it helps me manage that without because I can manage a certain amount of plates, but if it gets to a certain number, then it's like my list help. They buffer that. And I don't have to think about it because I've already thought about it. And my past self was always smarter than my present or future self. By the time I die, I'm just gonna be I have an IQ of 12.
Oh,
man, I can barely drool.
Oh, Dante.
Yeah, we're gonna get a Siphon Filter 2 and 3.
Yep.
And I really want to do a YouTube only series of that.
Yeah, that would make sense though.
Yeah, do it by mission or do it by level, and then I'd be able to do a playlist with said mission or level as an individual video.
Yeah,
I started doing that with Devil May Cry.
Well, Devil May Cry, especially on the Switch, Devil May Cry 3, it's chapters. They're super short.
Yeah, exactly, and it's and each of the games is usually around 20 missions, anyways. Sometimes it's 17 or 21 or 22 or whatever, but. It'll be really easy to do 5, 10, 15, 20-minute videos, depending on how long the mission is, and then it's there's the whole level, and then I can do a complete playlist and have unique YouTube content.
And talk about Kermit de Frog.
Kermit de Frog here.
Benjamin, would you like to see my French baguette?
We were making fun of streamers and their gimmick personalities.
Yeah, I don't know why you gotta be a gay French guy, though.
It's flamboyant. It's different.
No, you said gay.
No, I said flamboyant.
No, you said gay.
No, because I wanted the alliteration. I remember specifically. Alliterative.
You're a dork.
Flamboyant Frenchman.
I feel like you said gay, but okay.
No, I think your head just translated it. This is what I wanted him to say, and this is what I'm taking it. Or Sideshow Bob. That was the other one.
Oh yeah, because you're really good at voices and making fun of things, but you have to
I have to start with something.
Yeah, because Kermit Frog here,
Yeah.
You can't just start talking in a Kermit Frog voice.
It's Kermit de Frog here. I do that. Yeah.
Because didn't Kermit the Frog do headshots? He was killing people.
Oh yeah, so I did a stream on YouTube.
I like how we're knocking on him, and then you did it too.
I was knocking on them there. That's why I did it.
Oh,
That's why I specifically did Kermit the Frog.
Well, yeah, who doesn't want to be Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, so I was every Wednesday on YouTube Live. I stream just once a week from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I do different games there than I do on Twitch. So instead of doing like retro games, or like I have a Borderlands 3 series going on, and Final Fantasy and stuff. I do either games I suck at, so I'll do like Call of Duty or something like that, or I do viewer suggestions. So I had a viewer suggestion from my moderator, and I was doing the Division 2, and I was killing it. Like I was all over it. It was like I was just playing solo.
Oh no, solo.
But it was like there was one scene where I like went into this room. I think it was in like the like Aerospace Museum or something like that. There's a whole bunch of terrorists or whatever, like
they are considered
Black Tusk faction is what they're called in the Division, that particular group. But yeah, I was like I did like 2 quick scope headshots like back to back. I like threw out my mines. A guy ran at me and I no scope headshot him. And then 3 other guys came around the other side. I mowed them down real quick, and there was 1 guy left as my mines were going off, and I got another headshot. And the entire time it was like, "You're Kermit de Frog here." Boom! There goes your head. Like, and then I would just like keep going, and I went from just that whole scene. But prior to that, I had been making fun of streamers who do gimmicky voices and personas. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it was like they would never do something like that. Usually they're like,
very
wholly
specific.
like original characters to them kind of a thing. And so for me, I was just riffing on Kermit de Frog and them.
Yep.
And just decided.
Kermit de Frog here.
Yeah, it was great though, because it was like I was kind of on a hot streak, and so it was like headshot. And it was all Kermit de Frog's voice. Like, imagine Kermit de Frog killing you. Like, say that you were like invading like another like police or something. Like you're part of this tactical like high-end paramilitary group. And you have your squad, and you're like you roll in, and then it's like one dude who sounds like Kermit de Frog and just annihilates you. Like you've been friends with goddamn Ralphie for like 20 years, and you've been in the service together, and then all of a sudden it's like Kermit de Frog here, and his head explodes. Like that would freak you the fuck out.
That'd be fucked up too.
That'd be super fucked up.
But it's like I mean, back full circle here. I get it, but just don't pigeonhole yourself. And if you do, just don't expect to be taken seriously. Honestly.
And really, what it comes down to, more a broad scope advice is find out what you like. You need to be passionate about it, and if that is one game. Or if that is doing a persona, or
having strobe lights and doing dances,
or even just like playing the guitar and doing your original music on Twitch or something. Like, find out what you're super passionate about, and don't let anybody tell you have to do it a particular way, ourselves included.
Yeah,
we're just providing like firsthand experience with how we do it or how we have changed. You need to find what you're passionate about. You need to put in the work for it, and you need to constantly just be developing that. Like, lean into whatever you're good at or whatever you like to do. Don't let anybody tell you, like, no, you shouldn't stream this.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't do this. Like, you should do more like this person. That's bad advice.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what it comes down to. If you like retro shit like we do, like, do it that way.
Exactly.
If you like just to do, like, Call of Duty, kind of like esports bent, do that.
Yeah,
if you just like Battle Royale games, do Fortnite and Apex.
We're not knocking if that's what you're passionate on doing. We're knocking if you're young and you think that's how you're going to carve your way in and then be able to change from it. Because then you're going to only be known for this.
Yeah, and then that is the like criticism that I agree that we have is like don't do it for popularity's sake. Like, don't pick things that are just like popular. Don't like dress up just because other people are doing it.
Yeah,
it's like you gotta believe in it if you're gonna go.
It's like
for it.
Again, same example. Ninja always gonna be known for Fortnite.
Yeah, and he's been trying to break out of that. He
has been.
And get back to like Halo and things like that. It's one of the reasons he went to Mixer. And,
But still.
Yeah, and it's like he did get pigeonholed. He pigeonholed himself, and he's super young, But he's as he's getting older, he's obviously realizing what had happened, and even though he's still hugely successful, wants to pivot.
Yeah, pivot and fix it.
But it's hard.
It
is. You can see him struggle, and because he is such a big personality now, you can kind of see that struggle live as it happens.
And then that's weird to see too in its own right.
Yeah, you can see him lash out a little bit on social media.
Yeah.
You can see, Microsoft announced that, Mixer numbers didn't bounce, heavily upward like they thought they were going to, and things like that. So, even though he may be rolling in the dough, it's like, personally...
For how long you're going to be there.
Yeah, are you actually doing what you love? You know, are you actually passionate about it? Are you actually comfortable? Or do you even have the freedom to change? You know, and he doesn't. You know, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yep, and that's the shitty part, because he's young and popular in the sense of the word, and he just kind of screwed himself, and hopefully he can fix it, but I'm not holding my breath. He's going to be another one that burns out.
Yeah, and it's a very new career, and it's a very new industry.
It's like, what was that fucking one kid who did YouTube all the time? PewDiePie, yeah.
I just saw a video. I don't know if he's back to doing content, but the last video of his I watched was right around the New Year, and he flat out said he was burnt out. He's like, I'm tired of this, and he did, like, I watched this video like years ago before a lot of the controversy surrounding him.
Yeah.
I always found him entertaining, like super like passionate, upbeat, and like kind of doing it for scares and stuff. And he was just like dead behind the eyes. It was like monotone, and it was just like, I don't really want to do this. I'm gonna take a break for a while, like. And he's the biggest YouTuber in the world.
Yep.
And even him, he was like,
Fuck it.
Yeah, I was like, and he said he would be back, so I don't know if he rebounded like super quickly. I haven't like specifically checked, but I do distinctly remember that video. It was like the end of December, beginning of January, where he was just like, I want to take some time off.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it was all monotone and just like kind of disheartened and like beaten down, and was just like, eh.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
See, that's
it happens though. It can, even if you're on top of the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
So start strong. You know, essentially build a good foundation first. So then if you do take off, or when you do inevitably blow up, you know, you could always rely on that kind of versatile foundation rather than, you know, just
Kermit
a game. Yeah, or Kermit de Frog, you know.
I'm fucking Kermit de Frog. But yeah, anyways, I feel like, you know, that's square on the nail.
Yep, square on the nail. Common phrase.
Where's the frog here? Fuck off. Dickhead. Alright, any kind of housekeeping? I think we're...
No, I mean, we touched, since it was kind of just a free-for-all conversation, we kind of hit on a lot of the housekeeping we would normally do.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, whatever.
So yeah, we've updated our thumbnails for 64 Bits of Rage. You know that we have a dual mic setup now, so hopefully the audio quality is improved. You can find the podcast pretty much anywhere.
Here's the Kermit de Frog here.
Kermit de Frog here. I'm gonna be starting my own podcast with Miss Piggy.
Aww.
Why
do I gotta be Miss Piggy? You be Miss Piggy.
You could be Denise.
I don't want to be any kind of piggy.
I didn't get to decide who Kermit the Frog like dated. That's not like a reflection on you. It's just that's his spouse. I don't know.
Okay, SMR.
Oh god.
Anyways.
But yeah, and so yeah, we kind of hit base, like all of our bases at the beginning of the podcast. So yeah, I don't think
got much to wrap up besides a wrap up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no, I mean we're filling the fillers of the sadness of the season as of right now. COVID-19 is taking its toll, and
oh yeah. News is like conventions are being canceled. Big publishers and companies are switching to like digital announcements and stuff just to try to get information out.
Stay inside.
Yeah.
No, not really. Don't do that.
Live the hermit life.
Well, you do, but
I know, it's like I've been preparing for this without knowing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh my god.
I don't have to worry about shit.
Batman.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, I mean, with that being said, you know, we look forward to our own career blossoming, and, you know, you got to do what you got to do, and, I mean, everyone's going to make fun of somebody, regardless.
Yeah, we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, just in the same way that if you're doing the same types of things, not everyone is going to enjoy the content you make, and you just got to get over it and move on.
Chug along.
Just focus on what you want to do. And again, be passionate about it. Like, put in the hard work and the time and the hours, and make sure you have a good work-life balance.
It's gonna be effort.
Yeah.
Lots of effort.
It's not just sitting down and recording and then being done.
Exactly.
Walking away from the camera and then, oh, we're gonna blow up.
Kermit de Frog here.
Not gonna work.
Yep. I think that's everything then.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
Wrap. My name is Ariel and Anthony.
My name's Alien Schultz.
As always, follow the bear.
And that's been episode 9 of 64 Bits of Rage. Rage Talk.
Rage Talk.
Yeah.
We should keep doing these. These are fun.
That's why I like doing the Let's Talk for YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know.
Even though you're going to be part of that half the time.
I know. I'm part of everything all the time.
That's true. And why'd you have to get derogatory about it? What happened there?
Batman did it. No, I'm not. I'm excited. I'm excited. Folks, we're going places. We're going places! All right. As always, follow the bear.
Have a good day. Peace.